It's always kind of scary when you don't know what's on the other side, eh? You feel like things might be going really well, but you know that you're just unsure. You know, uh, who am I becoming? Um, what will happen as my new self is revealed? Will I be rejected? Will I be hurt like the last time I stepped out? Hi, it's Barry here from Turning the Page, and today's topic is about are you afraid of who you're becoming? And for my friend John, what he was going through, this was new ground he was walking on, and he felt very fragile. He had never been there before. He'd been walking, talking, and praying with me for a few months now, and he was beginning to see something really quite amazing change in him. And it wasn't forced or fake. It was, in his words, quite natural. Like it was something that was there all along, but now seemed to be making an appearance and revealing itself. Like, it was like a spring of water starting to bubble up, seemingly from nowhere. And he was kind of scared about who he was becoming. It was good, but there was like a bit of a fear of what's going to happen. Um, he knew he couldn't stop this internal growth, and it was good, and he didn't want it to stop. But what about how others would react to the new man, the new John, the new person he was becoming? All the scenarios played out before him, and it was like he was on a train as a passenger, and he wasn't sure where the train was taking him. Look, when you've learned some new things about yourself, processed some pain, asked some hard questions, worked out some shaky solutions, then there's always an invite. It's an invitation to move forward. Look, you can no longer stay where you are or even retreat back. You feel like you're on this train and it has already left the station of yesterday. It's chugging along and you're wondering what's coming next. Yeah, there may be quiet and anticipated um, excitement, but more so, there may be a fear of here we go again. In the past, you put yourself out there, showed your best creative self, but people, even your family and friends, shot you down. Instead of cheering you on, you got ambivalence and negativity. No one captured your vision. Look, I remember my first visit to the United States of America, and I was having breakfast in a Los Angeles hotel. And I was reading an article in USA Today about prison inmates finishing their time in jail. And I was particularly shocked by the stories of those who had spent months to years in solitary confinement. And when they were released out back out into society, they didn't know how to cope. For some, they actually built their own prison cells within their homes and apartments just to feel some sort of normality. Their becoming was trapped. Imagine that. They needed to build something familiar, the same dimensions, just for a sense of normality. And sometimes you need a friend to enter the prison cell and help you dangle your feet out the door, don't you? To say it's okay. Are you scared of becoming? Perhaps you're self sabotaging the train you're on. Stop it, slow it down. You're not alone. Look, the Bible is absolutely chock a block full of failures. There are no superheroes wearing bulletproof capes in the Bible. There's plenty of them wearing capes that have been shot to pieces. There are only humans living really human lives, people like you on a journey of becoming. And God invites them to leave the prison cells of their own making and move towards the Christ. And it's always a progression of failures and faith building, up and down, always. It is a hard way to learn, but for many of us, we need many experiences of failure before we truly learn how to walk. It's interesting to watch the progression of how Peter, one of Jesus' closest followers, left the prison cell of his own self confinement. And we all have those places where we feel safe. This is me, I'm okay here, leave me alone. But Jesus saw something different, and he does with you too. He sees something beyond the person we've made ourselves comfortable with. Jesus is always saying, "Come follow me, and I'll make you into," for Peter it was a fisherman of men, but it could be something different for you. What would he say to you? "And I'll make you into what?" So Peter leaves his nets and follows the guru. What fun, excitement, adventure! Oh wow, we're off on an adventure. Early days, eh? Early day Christianity. And then tests are thrown at him. Questions arise. Mystery fogs his brain. And then an ultimate test. Jesus invites Peter to walk on water. He fails. We would too, be honest. Peter fails Jesus again and again. He falls asleep when Jesus needs a friend. We would too, be honest. He denies knowing him as a friend to save his own skin. And let's be honest, we probably would too. You would think after all these failures, he would give up. I tried, I failed, I'm a failure. So let's go back to what is safe. Let's go back to fishing. And instead, though, there's this quiet, becoming love that has absolutely captured his life. Like, he's known the Christ, and he can't get it out of his system anymore. And he knows it's a train. Well, he doesn't know it's a train because there's no trains in those days, but it's like he's on a train and he can't get off. And the next time we find the combination of Peter, a boat, some water, and Jesus, we see him leaving the boat again. And here's the passage. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll find some." And when they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, so this is John saying to Peter, "It is the Lord." And as soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment, so he's probably just down to his underwear as such, for he had taken his outer garment off, and jumped into the water. And the other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 yards or 90 metres. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there with fish on it and some bread. This time, Peter didn't walk on the water. He jumped in the water. And the Bible doesn't say he swam. We think, we so often think, Peter swam to Jesus. Well, the Bible doesn't say that. Peter may not even known how to swim. But I think he possibly could have walked on the seabed. The Bible does not say that, and the Bible doesn't say he swam, but who knows? All that we know is that he got to Jesus. Peter could well have had the firmness of ground under him to aid his progress. But think about the water, the fear of drowning, getting wet, thinking of what others would say. None of that was going to stop him. This train journey had an invite and he wasn't going to miss. There was something so good and inviting and passionate about the man he saw that he threw himself into the water regardless of anything that might happen. Passionate people do stuff like that. They throw everything out. And with each step on the seaboard or stroke of his hands into the water, he moved closer and closer. Look, I don't know whether you've ever walked through water, but it's hard work. Swimming's hard work, but walking through water, all that resistance pushing back against you. Look, Peter was on a train and couldn't get off. The next train station of Peter's was a conversation of warmth, love, and reconciliation between himself and Jesus. One of the biggest questions I think we all have to face is one posed to us by Albert Einstein. He said that, "I think the most important question facing humanity is this: Is the universe a friendly place? Think about that. Is the universe a friendly place? This is the first and most basic question all people must answer for themselves. So I'm going to ask you, is your universe friendly? If it's not friendly and if it's not open to your presence, then why would you risk going into it, knowing it, exposing your heart to it? Is your Christ friendly? Is your understanding of what God is like to be one of love and welcome, like the invite to a meal by a fire on a beach? Come and join me. Let's have some food. You know, Peter wouldn't have jumped out of the boat to be with an ogre, a violent judge, a firm disciplinarian, or someone keeping their distance. He wouldn't have. None of us would. Here again we see God fully in man, Jesus, and it was so overwhelmingly enticing that you have to jump out of the boat and into the water. You just got to do it. Look, when you're stepping out of the boat, you will be scared. And when you don't know what's around the next corner, you might be apprehensive. And when you know that not everyone will get what you're on about, well, you might want to pull back. It's in these times that you need others around you that understand your shaky bones. People who say to you, I've been there, I know the fear. Your champions who will speak truth to your fears. You're going to be okay. Look, a vision keeper is not someone who will hold you accountable, keep you on target, make sure you tick the boxes. More so, they are someone who will, when you fail, and you will help you to dust yourself off and learn from the experience. They're not someone who walks in front shouting, keep up, or someone who'll keep poking you in the back with a long stick shouting, try harder. Instead, they are someone who will walk alongside and be themselves in their becoming to you in your becoming. They are on a train of their own becoming and see you as a fellow passenger. Here's some quotes. A great one from Lord of the Rings. And Gandalf, he says, I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure that I'm arranging, and it's very difficult to find anyone. Bilbo, I should think so. In these parts, we're plain quiet folk and have no use for adventures. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things make you late for dinner. I can't think what anybody sees in them. Gandalf, you'll have a tale or two to tell when you come back. Bilbo, you can promise that I'll come back? Gandalf, no. And if you do, you will not be the same. Wonderful. Tolkien. C.S. Lewis, to love it all is to be vulnerable. Love anything with your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make you sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully around with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love it all is to be vulnerable. C.S. Lewis. Unless a bishop, teacher, or minister has on some level walked through the suffering, failure, or humiliation, his or her words will tend to be fine but superficial, okay but harmless, heard by the ears but unable to touch the soul. Richard Rohr. When we fail, we are merely joining the great parade of humanity that has walked ahead of us and will follow after us. Richard Rohr. Vision for others both bridges the distance between two souls and triggers the release of the power within us. Larry Crabb. A vision we give to others of who and what they could become has power when it echoes what the Spirit has already spoken into their souls. Larry Crabb. God consistently chooses to accomplish divine purposes through the agency of human imperfection. Eugene Peterson. The Bible makes it clear that every time that there is a story of faith, it is completely original. God's creative genius is endless. He never, fatigued and unable to maintain the rigors of creativity, resorts to mass-producing copies. Each life is a fresh canvas on which he uses lines and colours, shades and lights, textures and proportions, that he has never used before. He's talking about you. Eugene Peterson. Some questions. Have you ever experienced that fear of who you're becoming? Number 2, what is it like to be on a train that you can't get off and you don't know what's coming next? What would help in that situation? Number 3, what is the passionate love of being with Christ causing you to become? Hey, thanks for watching or listening, and just love to hear from you. Email me, please. Please email me, barry@turningthepage.co.nz. And just again, a big thank you to those people who support me on a regular basis. It's like $1 a month. It's so little, but it goes so far. So thank you, and we'll see you again next week. And this week, think about who you're becoming.